We're in Utah, and a whole lot of Mormon cult princesses are taking a class on penmanship, note writing, and the teacher looks at one of them and she says, "Oh, this is way too good penmanship. They're never going to believe that you are not a Mormon." And yes, elsewhere in the U.S., the cops are talking to mom and dad, and they show them a note. "Is this your daughter?" Right here, and the note reads, "You won't let me do anything. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you." And mom bursts into tears. He says, "Oh yeah, that's her. They'll mark it off as a runaway." What the Mormon casing ends with. So, some Mormon cult pervert missionaries are casing a neighborhood when the only ones home are the kids after school, and they come across someone besides that little old lady, retired. They show her a sketch. They say, "Have you seen this girl?" And she says, "Well, yes, I have, but she's not missing. She's down the corner there on the left. Her parents aren't home. They'll be home after they get off work. You can talk to them." And they go, "Oh, thanks." And they walk on down the street. They take out that cell phone and they call up Saudi Arabia or Utah or both. And they say, "We'll have that look for that harem of the Saudi Arabians royal family. We'll have it soon enough by the end of the week. Make that video behind it, call to me right now. Get a little justice for Mary's children and 9/11 and other children." Senator and a reporter have showed up in Utah, and Romney is telling them, politician that he is, that everything's okay. These senior citizens from other states are here of their own free will. And yes, a missionary runs up, hands him a note that says, her mother Helen, she is not there of her free will, and she wants to leave. And he's so upset, he hands the note back to the senator. The senator, of course, quickly reads it, and Romney grabs it real quick, and he says, "Why are these senior citizens here strapped to the bed?" And he says, "That's so they can't fall out and call their friends, their senators, their family." Jared is a young Mormon cult member. He's not on his mission. He decided instead to be a part of organized crime with his Muslim brothers from abroad, be treasonous as well. And he's walking out of that ugly as sin temple. The devil insists they spend 3 long hours worshiping him and his lies. And Jake's there, he honks. And apparently he's been getting a whole lot of honks because he just flies off the handle, Jared does, and cusses out Jake. Jacob walks over and he says, "Why'd you do that? Why are you doing that to us?" And he shows him his phone. He says, "This is a website with 100 and growing of your harassment projects all across America. Of course, it's on flash drive as well. But based in Utah with their Muslim brothers from abroad, we're sending a message. We're keeping an eye on you. We don't like what you're doing, harassing a Christian in a wheelchair, me, for example, among many other harassment projects across the country." And he sees another one of those guys. He's going to hit the horn. He's got that those sites set for those folks who are part of organized crime, fraud, and treason. He goes by their houses to harm. He should too. Call them 24/7. Get them screaming out what else they're doing besides. Active in your families. Hijack lifelines. Ray is talking to his family's doctor. He says, "I know you're Mormon. Cold. I've been paying you good money for years, and I don't really know if you're doing a better job or a worse job than most doctors, or operating on some kind of, we want you to do this with your patients because the false Mormon cult prophet Russell wants you to. I don't know. I do know this. A lot of folks have been trying to call John Melton Brady, me, for over a decade and haven't been getting him. And we've got quite a few documentaries of your cult taking part in that. What is your personal part in my phone not working, not knowing when else it won't be allowed to work? And yes, the cult doctor, yeah, he doesn't say a thing. Get him on video doing that or saying something. Bubba and Lance are back from a hunting trip. They're members of the NRA, proud members. You got good reason to be proud. And they see some folks praying to the 9/11 Muslim devil down below. I don't know why that's not focusing. And yes, Mormon cult perverts casing neighborhoods when the only ones home are the kids after school. So they pick up truck them. And yes, they wait until the parents get home so they can have a word with those folks in bed with California's LAPD and other law enforcement, county and state organizations on site today, harassing over the top. They call them up. The parents tell them get home, have a word with them, and we'll call up California's law enforcement to a man, to a woman active in America's hijacked weapons, and ask them why are they an active part in that? That's compromising our security as a nation. What's your part in that? Get them on speakerphone. They're very entitled, so get them screaming. Post. Nelson is a Mormon cult doctor. He's even been known to have the cartoon Bible on the coffee table there. He and his receptionist and nurse are talking in the waiting room there, and it's kind of empty. And they say that's because our cult declared war on America. They've been actively harassing a Christian in a wheelchair and many other harassment projects all across America. And every time they pick up that phone and try to call Melton with Mormon cult folks around, his patience dwindle, and he says, oh, they got plenty of other kinds of harassment projects all over, and talks about them in length. And yes, the guy comes in, he forgot, his phone dropped out with that audio maker on. He picks it up out the couch there, and he's getting some intel for America. The cops sure won't do it, so he's going to have to. Tanya is a rape victim, and she makes that video of Mormon cult perverts casing her neighborhood when the only ones home are the kids after school and her. She's a college student. And she also, aside from making that video of the Mormon cult outside casing her neighborhood, she also calls up her police chief, her senators, her mayors or governors, and she tries to call me with them on speakerphone and yes, in person. She says, when else would my phone not be allowed to work? And why are you an active part in that, praying to the 9/11 Muslim devil down below? I can easily demonstrate with my family's lifeline not working. You should too. Find out what else they're doing besides praying to that 9/11 devil down below. Get him a little angry, they'll tell you. Russell Nelson, the current false prophet of the Mormon cult. You know, the Utah ones. He's in his mid-90s. He's half as old as his fraud of a cult. And he's having a dream back when he was in his prime. Oh, he's a heart doctor. And over the years he's done a lot of work for the evil folks of the unseen business. And this is what this is about. Everyone's bowing and scraping to the funny little man with that deadly skill. And yeah, they call him into the operating room. The guy says, this guy's on the wrong side. He's getting the truth out about us. Can you do something about it? And he goes to, yes, stop that hard. And yes, Russell looks down, and the devil's hand, red hand, is grabbing his leg and pulling him down, and he's dancing around and in his sleep. And Jim J and Charlie M said, so should we wake him? And Jim J says, oh no, he'll be with the devil soon enough. He'll get the real nightmare. So Romney, Mormon cult politician, is at a press conference, photo op, excuse me, I gotta call it like I see him. He's at that photo op, and someone just comes out and asks him, we want to know if your cult has thermonuclear capabilities. And he looks over, and the Mormon cult false prophet, half as old as his fraud of a faith, feebly shakes his head no, and says, oh no, of course we don't. And he says, the next question is, do you have any ties to the Mormon, to the Muslim ISIS or Taliban or Saudi Arabian family? He looks over, and the cowardly Hussein's doing this, and he invokes that Fifth Amendment there at the photo op. Some Mormon cult princesses have gotten a tip on a little old lady who's recently widowed, and her kids all the way on the opposite coast. And they got the tip from their Muslim brothers on American soil, and they rush over, they push their way into that little old lady's home. They read to her from the cartoon Book of Mormon. They say that disrespectful prayer, our Heavenly Father, please don't let any of our Muslim brothers or us get caught a raping or a stealing. In Jesus' name we disrespectfully pray. And that's when the little old lady hits her couch horn. It's her way of getting rid of unwanted visitors, and they go running out. Remember to post, running to those thrones, post and repost to YouTube all of my imagery. Ask them on the phone and in person while you're an active part in American Scientific Lifeline. Post. Dangerous Mormon Muslim cult from downstairs, literally waiting until I'm transferring from the shower chair to gold here, to beat on the door, to try to get me to fall. After butchering an image earlier, Lori Ann Brady Bond's hatred. So let me think of some more names beside the Eliases, Elias Properties in Monroe, Louisiana. And Sandy Roberts, I think her dad was a doctor, probably got plenty more. The dangerous Louisiana Catholics in bed with the Mormon cult of Utah, and a danger to other Catholics worldwide. Tried to call me in front of them, and you find out all their dirty little secrets in the way of Jesus' house. Post. Fortunately, Fred has some Mormon cult with their dangerous Muslim cult brothers on American soil as neighbors. So he sees their character a lot, and he's waiting, looking out the window, and he says to the wife, okay, I'll be right back. And he goes out. Their driveways with the Mormon cult folks are right next to each other. He left his window open, and that phone audio maker or perhaps video maker going, and he's got them being the devil in his neck of the woods, his city, his community, his state. You should too. Now, one flight 93 check call and over a decade of asking, get them on video. All Mormon cult folks with their dangerous Muslim cult brothers, get them on video being the devil. Kim is a rape victim And she says this in her video as she makes a video of Mormon cult perverts casing their neighborhood when the only ones home are the kids after school and her. She's a costume. And she says, I don't know why YouTube Susan Wojcicki has been suppressing truth about these people and our hijacked lifelines, but I don't like it, and I am posting and reposting all of that imagery of truth about our hijacked lifelines, our AT&T livelihoods and lifelines. And she makes a video of her hijacked calls and her hijacked call with the Mormon cult casing there. Not one Flight 93 check in a decade of asking. And she says these folks, these cult members scare me to death. I don't answer the door for them, but of course when you're getting groceries in, you have to. They sneak up behind you and they will not take no for an answer. Like your threat to our security as families, cities, and America, and your open threat to our security with your Muslim brothers overseas. That's what these two hunters tell the Mormon cult perverts who get back to their gray car and find their pickup trucks after that hunting trip on either side of that gray car. And yeah, they wait till those families get home, the moms and the dads, who don't like those Mormon cult perverts casing the neighborhoods when the only ones home are the kids after school. And they're going to give them a piece of their mind, get them to write them off their cult sales route. Take your Muslim, dangerous overseas brothers with you. Martha is a little old lady, and she's recently widowed. And the Muslim cult has given the Mormon cult princesses a heads up on that. Her kids are way across country, and she's, yes, recently widowed. And the church princesses rush over there, push their way into her home, read to her from the cartoon book of Mormon, and of course say that disrespectful prayer, our Heavenly Father, please don't let any of our Muslim brothers or Mormon cult pervert missionaries or us get caught a raping or a stealing. In Jesus' name we disrespectfully pray, and that's when Samantha hits that couch horn and sends them rushing to their thrones. Alice is testifying before the Senate subcommittee, and the Senate, looking into the compromising of our security that is America's hijacked lifelines and me not getting a Flight 93 check in over a decade of asking. And the senator asked her what happened when you tried to call Milton with that Flight 93 check, and she says, I got a Mormon. They are often talking around here about the, I call them walkie-talkie phones, and committing fraud openly. And she got one of their many impersonators of me, and she said it was obvious he wasn't Milton. And the senator says, what did he do? He says, well, aside from BSing, sent me a cartoon book of Mormon. And she puts it up on the stand there, and the senator from Utah says, I object, I object. And he walks over and says, no, that's one of ours. Enter it into evidence. It's a Harbinger Links. July 2019 joined. Uploaded a few yesterday, and I'm uploading some more today. Yes, I'm about to upload the Mormon cult. Ones catching the neighborhoods when the only ones home are your kids after school. And yes, I call it the Harbinger video because often they seem to be around with clumsy, high-tech toy kind of stuff. Remember, if you see one of those Mormon cult perverts out in public asking, does your cult have thermonuclear capabilities? Look them right in the eye and if they look away, because aside from what they've been taught to parrot from birth, they're not that good at lying. So if they look away, you make sure you got that video maker going. Oh, that's Romney, that rich Mormon. He ought to know. It wouldn't upload. Apparently a lot of folks are having difficulty with their treasonous activity, and good folks who don't like their treasonous activities, they won't upload to the Flickr. It could just be the harbinger folks with the Mormon cult, Muslim cult, but it is interesting. Look for it on the OneDrive and hopefully the Google Drive. And it might be in 2 places here. Trish is a Mormon cult librarian, and she's madder than a wet hornet because folks drive by her house and honk, and folks, at her library where she used to work would ask her, "Oh, I know who you are. Why are you active in America's Hijack Lifelines?" And someone explains to her as they're cussing, as she's cussing them out on the phone. She's changed her number a few times, but they want to know what her active part in America's Hijack Lifeline is. So, literally, the military hands out the numbers so that they can check up and let them know, we don't want you casing our neighborhoods when the only ones home are the kids at school. And all these times, that's how many times the Mormon cult has been below Melton, harassing him with Solari Enterprises, and that's why we're going to harass. We're not going to harass, we're going to get the truth out of you about your active compromising of the security of America with your cult. Do that. Russell Nelson wants to pray to the 9/11 devil down below, so he calls the Mormon cult missionaries in. Yes, he's 95 years old. He's half as old as his fraud of a cult. And they pick him up. He's strapped to the bed, and they lean him over so they can put that head to the floor and pray to those dangerous 9/11 devils down below, or at least the devil that directs them with their fraud of a faith, as well as the Mormon cult fraud of a cult. Get them on video. You trying to call me Christian in a wheelchair, and Solari Enterprises also active in America's Hijack Lifelines, harassing the Christian in a wheelchair. Some Mormon cult princesses get some tips from some Muslims, telling them about this little old lady who's recently widowed. Her kids live across the country. And so they rush on over, the cult princesses do, push their way into that grandmother's home. They read to her from the cartoon Book of Mormon. And of course they say that disrespectful prayer, "Our Heavenly Father, please don't let any of our Mormon cult perverts or Muslim brothers get caught a raping or a stealing. In Jesus' name we disrespectfully pray." And that's when Grandma hits that couch horn underneath her couch. They head for their thrones. And I'm uploading my joined parables for last month, July 2019, to youtube.com/DNFD series. And yes, I often hear, that's my call log videos, everything on this phone making this video. For the past half a year, that's actually about a year. So if you've tried to call me, and especially if you've talked to folks, because from the patio over there at Teague Terrace here, Solari Enterprises, Teague Terrace in the Eagle Rock, 4260 Eagle Rock Boulevard, apartment 409. I always, the ones of the moment, from Utah, gosh darn heck folks, talking about all the calls they're getting for this topic or that topic or this or that the other, more calls than usual, that kind of thing. Whether it's Fed sponsored, Utah sponsored, California sponsored, or military treasonous sponsored. You save that video of your call, whatever boring thing you get when you don't get me, or if you get, yes, those folks from Utah. You save it for the Senate subcommittee kind of thing. Oh yeah, here's the image that has these folks going just up the wall lately. Not one comment on it. Dangerous censorship in America. Make that video if you hijack, call to me right now, and yes, make a video of any email you send me. It's going to be stolen. Use those GPS things to find out what particular treasonous group is conducting that harassment, that treasonous stuff, and harassing a Christian in a wheelchair with their Muslim hatred, their non-Christian hatred. Oh, the nice lady who cleans and does my laundry. Brought some flowers over. I've been taking some photos. Hope to have some new stuff to design imagery with, saints and otherwise. And yes, I'm holding the camera against the table as I make this video, and I've noticed that hasn't stopped. Literally, I will have the camera dead still, and I call them Chinese with their Mormon cult folks on hand. Just like the lorry folks have to be obvious, but we'll have it shaking. And my hand will shake every once in a while. It's part of growing a new body. But yeah, make that video of your hijack call to me. Come see me in person. Tell me what you think of our AT&T livelihoods and AT&T lifelines. And if you see what I've heard often lately, Mormon cult impersonators with or without hair on their head, shaking up the storm, it's dad, justice for them. Look for all those devil's people and their Muslim brothers praying to that 9/11 devil down below. Look for them to have those very obvious consequences and excuse their worrying about that and anger about that as they alter my videos. Romney is a Mormon cult pervert politician. He's often used as placeholders for sham elections. Can't reach me right now, 424-229-4140, to tell me who I should vote for, what I should vote for. Yeah, that's our democracy being hijacked, as well as our lifelines. Anyway, he's speaking somewhere, photo op, and a reporter asked him, do you have connections with your cult or on your own with ISIS, Taliban, any of those Saudi Arabian Mideast groups? And he kind of freezes. He doesn't know what to say. He looks over at the false Mormon prophet Russell laying in his bed there by the photo op, and he shakes his head no as best he can, and he says, oh no. And then the reporter's follow-up question is, does your cult have thermonuclear capabilities? And he said, oh yeah, of course we do. I'm Melton. Make that video if you hijack call to me. And the Catholics in bed with the devil, Lori and Brady Bond. Names in bed with the Mormon cult and Muslim, their dangerous Muslim brothers in and out of the apartment down below me, in and out of Hussein's Saudi Arabia with the cowardly Hussein placing. Dangerous to worldwide Catholics, these folks. Let me think of a few names. Luffy Medical comes to mind. Blanchard, Moran, a military academy dropout. Jay Walker never could cross at the corner. All kinds of folks. I've come up with more because of their dangerous part, a threat to our world, not just worldwide Catholics. Mormon cult pervert politician is at this public event, and a lady wants to know, why is your cult praying to that 9/11 devil down below? And of course Romney says, I don't know what you mean. And she says, America's hijacked lifelines, that's what I mean. Let me demonstrate. She tries to call me Melton, John Melton, Brady, not one Flight 93 taking over a decade of asking no certified mail, no non-certified mail. Yeah, make a video of that mail if you're going to send it. And yes, it takes 5 minutes to make that video of your hijack call to me. Not one Flight 93 check, calling a decade of asking. And yeah, no calls from those folks in those hospitals who thought it took forever for their phone to work in that emergency. Call AT&T, all employees try to call me. Find out what else they're involved in. So the Mormon cult perverts have showed up at the military base, and the general wouldn't let the men fix that hole they cut in the wire so they could go in and knock on the general's door. He originally was going out on a Friday night because a whole lot of folks have been calling and asking about his part in America's hijacked lifelines. And they knocked on the door, and he had that dress on, wanted to go kick up his heels. And so they knock on the door again, and it kind of opens, and he's down on his hands and knees, and they say, what happened, General? Oh, in the dress, of course. And the general says, oh, I didn't drop anything. I'm not looking under the couch there. I'm praying to the 9/11 devil down below, what placed cowardly Hussein in our White House right after we got attacked by a whole lot of cowardly Husseins. Ask the general about that. Find out what else he's doing. Anita is a rape victim, and she has lots of Melton's imagery, not all, my creative wit here. More serious stuff, and she's making a video of it, and she's making a video of Mormon cult perverts casing her neighborhood. Well, the only ones home are the kids after school and her. And she explains in the video, these Utah cult folks terrify me. I don't answer the door, but when I'm getting groceries out, they sneak up behind me, and they will not take no for an answer. And she has as he says in her video, not only video of the cult casing and of lots of folks involved in America's hijacked lifelines with YouTube, because he's got videos of 100 folks going to one of my websites, one of my links, and it still says 0 views. She's pointing the finger at YouTube over her being terrified by Mormon cult, and it's exactly true. Politician for the false Mormon cult prophet. For the cult itself. Placeholder, as they placed a cowardly Hussein. How'd they do that? Well, you can't reach me by phone. I'm Melton. You don't know how many other Americans you can't reach by phone? That's how they placed cowardly Hussein. And I'm not a fan of the Oriental Russian guy in there now, but he's comic relief after that. And he's having a press conference, the Romney guy. And they ask, does your cult have thermonuclear capabilities? And he kind of freezes. He's a politician, but he freezes. He looks over, and the false Mormon prophet in that bed right beside the press conference, he's half as old as this prodigal of faith. He shakes his head, and of course the Romney guy says, no we don't. Sunday, and the Mormon cult pervert devil insists that the Mormon cult spend 3 long hours worshiping him and his lies each Sunday. And they're there, and the bishop will have to speak to some of them with a little honesty, and he says, yeah, the military doesn't like us with our Mormon Muslim cult. Brothers on American soil, courtesy of us. They don't like our threat to their security, so they will turn those phones on once you turn them off. So just leave them at home or in the car. And yeah, a lot of folks calling up them to try to call me and ask them when else will their phone not be allowed to work. Get them screaming out what else they're involved in. So, the Mormon cult perverts had brought some wire cutters to the base. They cut through the wire and they walk up to the general's quarters and they knock on the door. It's Saturday night and he's had a rough day. A lot of folks calling about not reaching Melton, John Melton Brady, me, Christian in a wheelchair for over a decade with a 9/11 plate 93 check. And Semper Treasonous folks within the military active in that, compromising the security of America. And yes, the general answers. He wants to go out and kick up his heels literally at a bar. He's wearing a dress. And he looks at those Mormon cult perverts with that cartoon Bible in their hands, and they look at him in that dress and they know they've got something in common. Yeah, threatening our security as a nation. Call them on that 24/7. Try to call me. A couple of hunters are back from hunting and they see some Mormon cult perverts casing the neighborhood in their city when the only ones home are the kids after school. So they pick up truck them, they park in front, and behind that gray car, and they wait there until the Mormon cult perverts get back to the car and they ask him, why are you doing that? And they say, why are you praying to the 9/11 Muslim devil down below? And then they wait for the folks in the neighborhood to get home so that they can ask him why they are casing their neighborhoods when they're only ones home are the kids after school. Some Mormon cult princesses have just got a tip from their Muslim cult folks that little old lady is recently widowed and her family lives way on the other side of the country, so they rush on over. They push their way into her home, supposed to have lots of real estate and life insurance, that kind of thing, and they read to her from the cartoon Book of Mormon, and they of course have that disrespectful prayer, our Heavenly Father, please don't let any of our Mormon cult missionaries or any of the Muslims with us get caught a raping or a stealing. In Jesus' name we disrespectfully pray, and that's when Granny hits that couch horn. Sends them rushing to the thrones. Lori and Brady Bond event stopping the computer so I can't process my videos, my parable videos. How does that affect you? Yes, you tried to call me. That's your family's lifeline not working, and this bitch here is active part in it. You call her on that. 337-309-9776. Try to call me. You get her screaming out what else she's doing. Do it in person too. Her and her gay husband Samuel Lindbaum. What else she's doing to compromise the security of our nation, other than an active part in America's hijacked lifelines and fraud of epic proportions. Yes, I'm pretty sure this first time I've mentioned Cindy Roberts and Cynthia Elias of Elias Properties and all the other Eliases in bed with dangerous elements that are active in America's hijacked lifelines, in particular Lori Ann Brady Bond of the Traitor Bonds. with that 7/11 marriage of hers. 7th of September anniversary coming up. I always remember because I had to work at a 7-Eleven with my degree in mathematics from ULM now, Northeast Louisiana University. I couldn't find work because of the devil Lori's hatred. Seriously, you try to call me up in front of all who are part of the dangerous Catholics of Louisiana, hijacking the world's Catholics, as they try to call me. 424-229-4140. Make a video, post a video, find out what these folks active in hospitals in Louisiana, Glenwood of West Monroe, where the devil couple worked, and whatever hospital he had to run to, because the devil Lord was just peculiar as hell, and he as well, the gay husband. Find out what they're up to, and find out what those folks down below me are up to that have a serious hatred of imagery. Again and again, it sticks out like a sore thumb right here. It should to you too, if you got any kind of an eye. It's been placed in to taunt that Lori Ann Brady Bond way after I got the image. Yeah, I cropped it a little, I believe, to get it just how I wanted. The photo, I cropped several. And this was placed in after I put the text in. The saint text. It's the devil Lori with its unnatural gay husband and offspring. Active in your families. Hijack Lifeline. Call her on that. That's her number. Look up the numbers of all who went to school with it. Out here in California with their connections, that's